afternoon, it's Bill with Bill's Never Ending Projects. I got another project in yesterday. Let me show you what it is. That's it. It's a John Deere 620. It's got 38.6 tires in the back, and come down and we'll talk about it. Okay, the 620 listed in the book starts with, it says 62999, so 6,299,999. And the one I have is exactly like that. It's just I have the Rollomatic front end, and I do have power steering, I guess. But the Rollomatic front end, and I guess I do got the emblem. Doesn't show up when I see it in the viewfinder, but I see things always show up on camera, or when you watch it back. I don't know if it's original paint or what. It looks like it had a loader on it. I've never seen another one with gussets that look like that. There are some with a loader with gussets that do the same method with this big solid shaft, but they're not exactly like that. I've never seen another one like that. So the problem with this one is, well, several. The muffler's missing. The front tires need to be replaced, even though they're pumped out. That's pretty rotten down there. The back tires are up, and they'll stay until they go bad. The exhaust pipe right here, if you reach up under the hood, it's gone. The engine's locked up. Yeah, the engine's locked up. So from some research, looks like they were built from 1956 to 58. And 20,848 were built. I just hit that dumb thing for a loader. I got the pin on it. I think I'll just pull it up right now. Won't be hitting that anymore if it comes out. Oh yeah. What a thick piece of metal. Wow. We'll set that here. Rid of that. Okay, I got some more information. Mine is serial number 6,207,917. We got it right there. 6,207,917. So, like I wrote down, it's got no 3-point, no dual hydraulics, kind of a plain Jane, but it does have power steering. because it says so right here. Not that I've seen where the pump is on these or anything. Being a farmall guy, this is only the second John Deere I've ever owned, and the first one sat around and I ended up selling it and never did anything with it. It was a John Deere 60, so now I got a 620. I wouldn't mind having a Farmall A either, but mean John Deere A. Only about 3,000 of these were about 3,000 of these 620s were sold in 1956, and they made it from 56 to 58, I think, about 3 years, and then about 7,917 were built in the next year, 57. That's what mine is, in 1957, and mine was the 4,140th out the door in 57. My hour meter has 4,494 hours. And yes, it's stuck. And when I first bought it, I would let it soak. Then I would go down and try to unstick it. I had a bar built to go on the flywheel. I had a bar belt to go on the flywheel here, and I mean, I don't even have the cover off yet right now, but don't even know if I put a bolt in it. No, I didn't. But I had something built down here. I didn't weld nothing to it, but I had something built down here where I would go clear up on top of the hood with all this leverage and try to pull on it from up there, but I tried several times, and good thing I wasn't that powerful, whatever, I would have just broke the governors or whatever's holding it back. It's possible a piston is stuck. I got a camera to go, a borescope, so, but a piston, valve, governor could be stuck, distributor, oil pump, fan shaft, generator, no, because I took it off and freed it up, it was stuck. So, I spent time and time to try to get this freed up, and the only problem was, that's when I found out why the guy parked it. He parked it because of this, if you know what this is. It's the oil filter, it's the two-piece oil filter setup. I copied a page out of my book that I paid more money than I should have, but I didn't know anything about John Deere's. And not like an International, where the oil filter's upright and it's a simple one bolt, and no, John Deere don't do that. The cap, like the Internationals, it's upside down, and the one guy I watched on the internet that said, sorry I don't know the name of the set, but he said, don't over tighten these. Don't over tighten them. And I'll tell you what stud size that is. Here it is right here, I got it written down. It's a 1/2 inch by 8 7/8. Number B1745R or whatever, but it doesn't matter about these part numbers, because unless you go to John Deere, and I don't know how many they carry, and there's no aftermarket parts to fix this oil filter. So somebody tightened it too tight, and this was stripped. And when I was pouring in, I bought a whole jug of WD-40, and I poured as much in as I could without it leaking out of the spark plug hole. And the problem is, that's when I found out the oil filter thing wouldn't seal. So it must be not too much oil builds up in the block, and it comes right out of there if you don't have that sealed up. Again, I tried to seal it up with a flat steel plate, where I think I tried to. This here screws onto that stud, so I must have made a flat plate, put it up there, and then put a nut and washer on it and stuff, and probably put something on here like some silicone to seal it, but it didn't work. And so I couldn't really soak the pistons very well, because any of them where the WD-40 was getting past the rings, it would just come out on the ground. One of them, the one that was stuck, you know, it's usually only one of the two that are stuck. So I couldn't soak it with the darn, because it would run out that oil filter. So like I said, that's when I found out why they parked it, and he was mad at it, because yeah, it's a two-piece filter. This top that I got outlined in blue, right here, and then the bottom piece that I got in orange. I mean, one's the gasket and one's the bottom piece, and again, gasket and the top piece. It's a two-piece, and it's got three nuts that go in it, three bolts that go in it from below, where you got to use an extension to get them out. And it's got that stud I talked about that's 1/2 inch by 8 7/8. And this canister gets pressed in a groove up in there, so I wrote down the special tool, but I don't know. It's just a puller, so I don't know. Maybe I can come up with something to get that out, but I don't think I can make a tap that would go weld a solid rod on a tap and go up in there and re-tap that, and then just make up my own 1/2 inch stud. Then I wouldn't have to go in there, and they say to go in through through that cover. I'll show you. Okay, it's just down from that big clutch handle in here behind the distributor. I believe they call it the crankshaft, the crankcase cover. And this thing was loose when I bought it, so I know somebody was thinking about going in there and changing that oil filter stuff. So this thing sat for at least 20 years. It hasn't been run since 2000 or before that, all because of this nasty job of changing that out, and then that contributed to it being stuck. Now, I'll give you the story where I bought it at the auction. Okay, I got enough collector tractors that I wrote it down. I brought it on April 30th last year, 2022. It should have a green dash and a black generator. It has a 302.9 cubic inch engine. I think it's somewhere around 44 horsepower on the drill bar. But the thing is, I guess I didn't write the price, but I'll never forget it, because I mean, I didn't buy it on Marketplace. I didn't buy it on Craigslist. So I got it at a normal farm auction, about 25 miles from here. After I bought it, since it was Saturday, I didn't know they charged double to haul it. So instead of $150, he charged me, was over double. He charged me $350 to haul it. So that makes it a terrible deal there, because I didn't get it for no $500 or $600, because I was dumb and I paid $1,100. I was going to stop at $1,000, and so before I even start this, I've got almost $1,500 into it, and so that's just ridiculous. But that's what you get doing those spur of the moment things at auctions. And when you buy on Marketplace and when you buy on Craigslist, somebody else is marking it up from an auction, or they're getting a decent price for it because they're selling something one piece at a time. So I've got got to get it running to make this all right. The seat's missing. I'm sure the battery's bad, which is every time you buy something that's been sitting, you have to put in different fluids, and they're a fortune these days. The seat thing says it's about $100, and if you buy the back, it's even more, 150 or more. Even got some of those prices I wrote down. The head gasket set would be 158. Rod bearings, if I wanted to change, it would be 29 for a set, and it takes two. Remanufactured cylinder head from either yesterday's or the other place.
Steiner.
630, which I'd never do. You'd go to a junkyard and you'd do it yourself. But each exhaust valve, one's 43, or the intake's 26. These are either yesterday's or that
Steiner.
place up by Minneapolis.
Steiner.
The muffler, I'm missing the muffler, so here I bought a tractor, no muffler. It's gonna be $60 plus shipping. And I guess the later 620s and the 630s had the rectangular one, but I have to have the round one that has the square thing on the bottom for 4 bolts. So I don't think I can put the rectangular one on. Looks like it would probably work better because it looks like a real muffler. And all I know is I seen the rebuild kit. It looks like this don't have sleeves. So then you're gonna have, if you had to, you'd have to pay all that money from a machine shop, and then the piston kit, even without sleeves, I don't know how it could be. It was $1,200 or $1,100 or something. So I don't get it. Why is everything so much money? Radiator cord, $389. Battery box, $219, or an economy one for $119. But this is all stuff that nobody'd ever buy. That heavy cast clutch pulley, $565. Right. Nobody's gonna pay that. Are they? Steering wheel, $71. Mine got a big chunk out of it. Doesn't look like it, but it sure turns your hands black. But so I guess this is not going to be cheap to work on. If there's anything wrong with the cylinder wells that I can't hone, wow, I would have to bring it to a machine shop or look for another block. And if I had to buy those pistons, the kit for those, geez, it's just, I would never pay it. I would have to do it a different way. So, well, let me talk about, that's enough about the tractor I'm going to work on here. This was the book I bought. That's part of it on the inside. But a lot of this is, I don't want to they don't really turn that easy. You can't really do it with one hand, but a lot of this is how to work on a 60 tractor. There it is right there. How to work on a Model 60 tractor. So, in the front, I have to stop. It is very, very hard to make these pages. You can't just shut it. Here's my one hand trying to do it. It just sticks. You gotta force them up near the top, and then you get the thing, and then, oh yeah, even the front says Model 60 Series tractor. Why did I buy that? I guess because it was the only option to, I guess it, well, it showed me that oil pump stuff, so that's what I wanted, because I had no idea how they built that oil pump. It was so odd. I just couldn't believe it, that you have to reach down in that crankcase cover thing and unhook the oil lines and pull that top piece out after you get the whole bottom thing unhooked and all that. It's like, oh my gosh, that's just insane.
Oil
And
filter
so,
thing, I mean, not oil
I
pump.
just think it's kind of insane. But these are kind of neat the way they look in the back. They stand up so darn tall. I guess it's because of the seat. Goes way up. I don't know. It just seems like a cool tractor. So there's only a 60 I had before, but I built a cheap step on it. But now it's just a lawn ornament, or that I could put out along the driveway. But so what am I going to do with it? I would say I'm done trying to loosen it from soaking it. I'm just going to, I'll have to pull the hood off. I've never worked on John Deere, so, but I'm going to, I'm sure I'm going to pull the head off and the rocker arm and the head bolts, get that out of there, get it down to the pistons, see if I can get it turning over. If I can, then I guess maybe I will try to reach through the hole of that crank cover, and maybe I would, I one time said I'm not reaching through that hole, I'll pull the block off, because I seen them in a junkyard. If the head is here, they call this the block part, and the rest of it, where the crank is, seems to be in a case built similar to a transmission case in a farmhouse. But I guess you could call this the block and this the crankcase, because it bolts up. It must bolt up to the transmission, or I don't know. Never worked on one, so I've just they said from the 60 to the 620 it's supposed to have a better seat. I don't know what's better about it, so I guess I'll try to reach through that crank cover to change the oil thing, and I'll go to a junkyard. And I'll see if I can get the parts from a 60 and see if they fit, because I know they changed the seat, and I know they changed the stroke on the motor, changing the rod length and making it shorter stroke, and I know they changed the hydraulics so you could have dual hydraulics and run 2 cylinders at once. And I know they made a real 3-point on here. Of course, I got the regular drawbar. And I know they did these changes, but as far as that oil filter thing, I'm hoping that that's the same as the 60, because I think there's a 60 down at the tractor junkyard. It's a car junkyard, but he also has a fence where he has some old tractors, mostly internationals and stuff, but there was a couple John Deeres. That's where I seen if you take this block off, you could really easily work on the oil filter, because this whole thing would be open, and it's all open to reach in there. That's what I was originally going to do, so I don't got to reach down through the that crank cover. Well, that's enough of what I'm gonna do or what I might do. I gotta unhook all this stuff, and I don't know. For all I know, I'll spend another few minutes putting some long bar on there to see if anything's changed in the last year. But I don't think it has. So that's enough of this. The next time I come turn this on, I'll be doing some work.